manga series and manga curious reader looking for a starting point or a season fan looking for your next big fix. This is the list you're looking for. Originally a niche of genre of graphic novels originating from Japan, the popularity of manga, the correct pronunciation of the ancient speakers is manga, has exploded onto the mainstream over the last few years. Typically, manga chapters are serialized in magazines, then collected into volumes, which is how we enjoy them as published translated onto the West. We're a fan of diving into all sorts of stories, no matter of the median. Manga is known for many things: epic action scenes, character growth and that pulls on heartstrings, stories that feel warm and cozy, extravagant world building, humor of both of the slapstick and subtitle varieties. Because manga isn't one thing, there are as many genres, subgenres as you'll find in many kinds of content. That's why we broke down this into some large categories so you can find picks of the kinds of stories that make you a manga fan for life. So this is really helpful because there's a lot of series that don't get as much love, and there is certain series that everybody knows about. So maybe we can stumble across something that we never have came across before. I rarely doubt that, but hey, it's worth a shot. So crime and mystery, I love this category, so I'm excited to see what they put in this category. Whether the characters in these books are investigating mysteries or committing crimes, you'll be in for a big dose of intrigue, which I can agree. So first title they have is Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. Twilight, aka Lloyd Forger, is a spy who's tasked with building a family for his mission to ensure world peace. He just doesn't know that the girl he adopted, his daughter, is a telepath, and the woman he agrees to marry is an assassin. Cue the shenanigans. One thing that I can say about, and I'm gonna try to add my input and thoughts about each of these that I have some background in. So Spy Family, I only read a little bit of it, but Spy Family actually is very interesting. The aspect of him being a spy and the wife being a assassin and the daughter being a telepath is actually a really good concept, and it's really funny. Anya Forger really adds a nice dynamic to the relationship because she's really living in the middle and really kind of giving the thoughts that we would have ourselves. So I think that's pretty cool. Spy Family as a whole, I can't comment on because I have never finished the whole thing, but it seems like a very good series. It's it's very slow at the very beginning, kinda, so you have to be very open-minded to it, in my opinion, but I like it a lot. Don Da Don, currently my girlfriend's favorite series. We loved watching season 1, so we gotta jump back on season 2. High school student Momo ISA thinks ghosts are real but aliens. Nonsense. Meanwhile, a fellow student who she calls Okarun believes the exact opposite. Naturally, they must investigate sites with supposed paranormal activities, and see who's right. I know that was extremes, but it's whatever else. Extraterrestrial is what it was. One thing about Don Da Don is that I like the concept. I like how it takes from Japanese horror stories in a way and adds those characters. Like Granny was from urban legend of stuff from Japan, so I thought that was pretty cool. And Don Da Don as a series is very interesting. It has a nice twist to it. In season 1 intro, fire was gas, but Don Da Don being in the crime and mystery, actually I can see why it's crime and mystery, is actually pretty good. Death Note, an instant classic. I don't know why the manga stacks up against the anime, but I can guarantee you probably can't go wrong with either or. I like it a lot though. I think that this is a great series. Death Note just for itself, I don't want to spoil too much. You can read it and see it here, but Death Note is definitely a series that you should just jump into. It's not that long and it's fire. Fantasy, okay. I did not know Jujutsu Kaisen was classified as a fantasy. That's very interesting to me. High school student Yuji Itadori joined a secret organization, Jujutsu Sorcerers, to eliminate a powerful curse named Ryomen Sukuna, of who Yuji becomes the host. Being a fantasy, I guess you can actually classify JJK as a fantasy because there's just so much going on. So I can understand that, but JJK is definitely worth a watch, I would say. Not so much a read unless you have a lot of time, because the further you get into Jujutsu Kaisen, it gets a little bit confusing. There's so much power scaling, and there's so many characters who have just too much to them that it gets confusing. I got to a point to where I had to watch pages, let me say. And as well as I want to say, I'm gonna be doing more of these videos in the future because I find these a bit interesting, and this is a video that you can kind of just relax to and watch and just listen. I am going to be doing more traditional ASMR as well as more just tapping videos in the future. I didn't make a post, but I've said in one of my other videos was that I currently hurt my arm a week ago at my other job. I popped my arm out the socket completely, so now it's back in. Like you can see here, it's back in. I can move it a little bit. I took it out of the sling for right now just to get it some little bit of flexion and everything. I don't know if I'm supposed to be out the sling, so I'm not gonna do too much movement and lifting and tapping and twirling and everything with this arm until I've been seen. So tomorrow I should be seen and they should give me some restrictions. I'll see how I feel. It's very sore, so I'm trying to just still get you quality videos, but I don't want to risk it and be out any longer. So that is why you have had like 8 or 9 days of no videos. So I apologize about that, but I want to make sure that my health is good before I continue to do stuff. So you'll see me moving around and use it, but I'm gonna try to limit myself. Bungo Stray Dogs. I know nothing about Bungo Stray Dogs. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Richard, I'm gonna just say Nakajima becomes a member of the armed detective agency where he joins other gifted with supernatural power to accomplish different tasks, including running a business, solving mysteries, and carrying out missions. Wow, okay. I didn't know that. Fun fact, the literal title is literary Stray Dogs. The series was based on the idea of gathering multiple famous late authors and poets and draw them as young adults and teenagers with superpowers. Oh, that's dope. That actually, I've always came past Bungo Stray Dogs, but I've never picked it up. Knowing that now actually intrigues me. Here we got One Piece. You know they're gonna have some goats on here. An epic tale of adventure of Monkey D. Luffy and his crew, the Stray Hat Pirates, in search of mythical treasures known as the One Piece. So yeah, we all kind of are familiar with One Piece. I've seen some volumes of One Piece at my other job. I can't pick it up though, because they're like, I've seen volumes 105 to 108, and that's just working backwards. At that point, I might as well just buy the box sets. But One Piece, yes. From the small things I've seen, really interesting series. I have never started One Piece. I say that all the time. I'm waiting to start my other YouTube channel to make a whole entire series of me starting One Piece. I know people would love to see that. So, Full Metal Alchemist, amazing. This is not Brotherhood. I know a lot of people prefer Brotherhood more than Full Metal Alchemist, but the Full Metal Alchemist volumes are like incredible. The hardcovers are amazing. That was one series that I feel like if you're a collector, you should have that series. Those volumes are just amazing. I can't say it enough. I'll put a video on a picture on the screen of how they look. Man, the spines and just how they look are so dope. That's something that I need to have in my collection. I love those. Farron. So Farron is, I watched only 2 episodes of Farron. It was very, very slow for me. So Farron, I really didn't know if I was the demographic for Farron, if I'm being completely honest. The first episode was like 55 minutes, the second one was like 20, 30. This is Farron starts as the end of the story. Farron is an elf mage who is part of a party who returns as heroes after slaying the Demon King, while everyone else grows old. But for her, 50 years passes by like nothing. A funeral for one of her comrades leaves her face to face with her own immortality, and is set out on a new journey to learn more about humans and decipher what it means to live forever. I like the premise of that. And wow, that really just broke down the first episode and a half, but I just don't know if it'll appeal to me. I kind of am interested in it. I'd like to see that she had another protege underneath her, so that was cool. Farron is something that everybody loves. Farron, it won a couple of awards last year. I could have sworn people rave about it. And it's probably a super heartfelt, super heartfelt series, so why not give it a look? I just, it didn't resonate with me at first. Mashal was something that me and my friend spoke about. He was raving about it and said that I should check out Mashal. So, the premise of a guy having superpowers, well, not having any magic, but just being able to muscle is interesting. So, I definitely will have to give Mashal a check out. I think I'm probably going to go the route of the anime of Mashal more than I will go the manga. So y'all let me know what y'all think. If y'all tune into Mashal, what do y'all think about it? Ranking of Kings, that's another one that he gave saying or doing anything, so that makes sense. Demon Slayer, of course, doesn't need to be explained. Demon Slayer is a pretty good series. I enjoyed the manga. I think that was one of the very first series that I read from start to finish, and I enjoyed it a lot. So the series was good. They had the Infinity Castle coming out. I know the movie not too long ago happened in Japan, so it's probably gonna get here eventually. Probably go check that out and everything just to see what's going on. And they had the Hinokami Chronicles 2, the game. Sorry, tongue twister. That game being out looks extremely like dope and everything, but I'm so burned out with like CC2 games, if I'm being completely honest with you. That's only because I played all the Storm games growing up as a kid. It happened the same engine, Demon Slayer being pretty fun and everything, but the damage in that game is insane, bro. 2 combos and you're dead. So maybe I'll play in the future. I don't know. I don't really know. It's just not my cup of tea anymore. I played the first one. It was cool. I just wasn't a fan of I'm not a fan of how games, and we'll get back to this in a minute. Let's just go to the next one. But I'm not a fan of how games recycle the same characters. Like there was in the first Hinokami Chronicles, there was 6 Tanjiros. That is unnecessary. It doesn't need to be 6 Tanjiros unless there's different time placements of Tanjiros. Like on Naruto, there's so many different Narutos, but there's different Narutos with different mechanics, and there's young, small Naruto, Sage 6 Path, like key Narutos. So that is a lot important. I know the game was gonna be like, I probably played the Demon Slayer game once the series finishes and all the characters are in the game. That'll be like fire because everybody's in the game. But it's just Kapatora Sakura. Never heard of this. Elementary school student Sakura Kinomoto discovers magical powers as accidentally freeing a set of magical cards. Now she must retrieve the cards, each of which grant the ability to prevent catastrophe. Okay, wow. I actually like that. Never heard of this series. Let me know if y'all have ever heard of it. I've never heard of it, and I like coming across series that I've never heard of because those are usually the best series with no context. Historical fiction. Go back in time and travel the world with stories of characters from long ago. Vinland Saga. So I am currently on the process of like reading a lot of my collection. Vinland Saga was one that I picked up, so I have the specific volume 1 of Vinland Saga. But my job, my other job, so I have 2, but my other job has the deluxe hardcover Dark Horse editions of Vinland Saga, which has like 3 volumes in one. So I'm waiting to pick those up to get into Vinland Saga some more. I just don't want to keep buying so many series, and I know I'm trying to read because I don't want to have such a long backlog of stuff to read. So I'm trying to expand on the series that I'm reading first, then go to Vinland Saga. But Vinland Saga, from what I read like a chapter of it. Very good. It started off really amazing. The epic story is set in England over 1,000 years ago, while the conquering Dane king Swedenborg Beard nears death. His son Prince Harold and Prince Gantu fight for dominance. Fans of detailed artwork corporation. This engrossing action-packed saga. Black Butler. I have not came across Black Butler in such a long time. Black Butler was one of the very first series that I started when I was young. I liked it a lot. It was very, very detailed, especially for me to be as young as I was. I think I was 13 or 14, maybe even 12, watching Black Butler, and to be that in tune and locked in with that was very, very interesting, because now that I watch Black Butler now, I'm not that gravitated towards it, but that could have just be because my palette of anime slash manga is just farther out now. A really good starting series though. Oku, the Inner Chambers, in this alternate history of Japan during the Edo period. And I like the Edo period, by the way. A mysterious disease kills most of the male population, leading women to move into all roles with society, including the shoguns. Readers seeking stories that blend social comedy with high stakes drama will enjoy this. Actually, that's pretty cool. Only thing I can relate that even to is Mulan, but Oku, that's actually a really good premise. I like all female based series in a way. I forgot what it was called. Dang, what is it called? It's the opposite of like Berserk. Dang, it'll come to me. I'll put it on the screen if it doesn't come to me. But I like series like this because you get to see it in a different light, and the story is shifted in a different dynamic that you normally wouldn't experience. So I first episode was crazy. How he was gearing to get this job, he got it, and then he just was depressed, and it was eating away at him. And then the zombie apocalypse comes, and dude literally feels free, and he's frolicking through the zombie apocalypse because he hated his job that much. It added such a real factor because there's a lot of people that are depressed that hate their job, that experience the things that they do, and not to that extent of what he had going on. They need an escape, and that coming up like a Zom 100 is dope. I don't know if they continued Zom 100. I heard it got canceled. So many people say so much crazy stuff. I don't know if it got canceled, but Zom 100 is a very good series. The summer Hirokaro died. See, I seen this series the other day when I was at Schuler Books and I didn't pick it up. It says Yoshiko lost his best friend Hikaru. Kind of there's someone or something that acts like Hikaru, but Yugisha knows better. The eerie and emotional story includes a slice of life manga with supernatural danger. Wow, that's kind of creepy though. Knowing that, I kind of pick it up. I feel like it might be crazy. That's super creepy though. Wow. That's actually kind of crazy, if I'm being completely honest. That's actually super, super dope. I gotta check that out. I like that. I came across it and I was like, wow, I don't know how to feel about this, but now thinking about it, that might be kind of crazy. That's just that made me like uncomfortable to think about. You having a friend and thinking your friend is somebody else, and you know it's not, and you can't prove it, and everybody else thinks it. That's kind of crazy. That's a dope. That premise, man. That's actually pretty dope. Chainsaw Man, of course. Chainsaw Man is very depressing. If I can tell you one thing about Chainsaw Man, read the manga. The manga of Chainsaw Man is a lot better than the anime, only because it takes away from some of the edginess and mystery that comes along with Chainsaw Man, because you're not supposed to be in the loop. The key factors of what's going on, you're supposed to know what's going on, but you're supposed to be unaware at the same time and be scared of what's to come next. They take that dynamic away in the anime. And the anime is more fan service, not in the way of just boobs and everything, but more of like action horror, ripping up zombies. Like the story carries itself a lot better in the manga. A lot better, if I'm being honest with you. So check out the manga for sure. That one's a really good one though. Komi can't communicate. Never even I stumbled across, but never even thought to give Komi I can't communicate a chance. If anybody has read that, let me know. I'm interested in stuff like that. I just don't know what to even kind of think about. It just really, to me, it's like, wow, okay, maybe so, maybe not. Shoko Komi is overwhelmingly popular, beautiful, and elegant. Has severe communication disorder. She managed to befriend Hiyohito Tando, an exceeding average schoolboy who reveals to help her reach her goal of making friends. See, that might be a good chill down series to read. It's very popular, so it's popular for a reason. Love is War is by far my favorite slice of life. Aroma's slice of life is my favorite. I remember I had so many memories with Love is War. I remember when I tore my ACL a very long time ago, maybe 3 years ago. I was at home and I had spent a lot of time to myself. I was playing nothing but Bleach Brave Souls, and more videos of that coming very soon. And Love is War I watched the entire series, and it had me just like, wow, like it made me feel like I was back as a kid again, and back in high school, like that. Like it was really crazy, and it was just so funny, and I like that it's 3 episodes in one. Very good show. Fruit Basket, I know of it but never even watched it. Orphan, Toru Hondo meets members of the Sohomo family who are possessed by the animals of Chinese zodiac and cursed into animal forms when they are hugged by someone of the opposite gender. As she grows closer to them, she resolves to break the curse and heal their emotional wounds. Wow. I would have never thought that the premise would have been that. You don't know a lot about a series until you read what they have of it. Fruit Basket might be actually kind of good now. Like I just looked from the outside in and I'm like, bro, Fruit Basket is not for me. Like I just thought it was a girl like just carrying fruit, just going around like some stupid stuff. But that's actually a really good premise. Moriyama Kuroko Hari is the perfect mix of beauty and brains, while Izumo Miura is meek and distant to his classmates, but they both have a secret side that they don't show to others. An everyday story of opposite attracts how people more in common than we might accept. See, that one's very vague. It doesn't really say too much. Kini no Toku from me to you. A slow and sweet high school love story between Sawako Kunama and has always been shunned and misunderstood because of their resemblance to the ring Sato and Sunny. Okay, see that one? I don't know. It doesn't really appeal to me, honestly. Science fiction, Tokyo Revengers. See, my thing with Tokyo Revengers, if I can say, the future is now and there's aliens, robots, and space travel and more in these action-packed stories. The only thing I can say about science fiction is, well, not science fiction, but Tokyo Revengers, is that the story and the characters in general are amazing. It's just Takamichi. I've always said this and I'm going to be consistent with it. I like Windbreaker better. I like all these other series better. Tokyo Revengers really dulls itself down because Takamichi isn't a character that comes full force and comes back around. The old Takamichi is no different than the younger Takamichi, and the fact that he is just so emotional without it having any extreme backing is really terrible to me, if I'm being honest. Like, him being that emotional, if he had like what Mikey had and stuff like that, and he had that edge to him where like he's so emotional till you push him to the point that he's just a crash out, I would get it. But Takamichi is being saved and being emotional. I never would get over the premise in the scene of him getting beat up so much to the point that I'm like, bro, you're getting beat the fuck up by somebody and they're like, he's so tough, I gotta leave. You're just literally beating this person down brick by brick. What are we talking about here? I'm not a fan of that. Like, I don't rock with it at all, if I'm being completely honest with you. But Tokyo Revengers, the story and the outside characters are not bad. It's just Takamichi, him being like probably the worst main character to me. You can disagree or you agree with me, let me know. But Takamichi to me is the worst main character that I've ever come across. If you have anybody else that's also worse, let me know. But he's by far the worst. My Hero, yes, My Hero's a great series. I liked when Deku turned dark for a second, but My Hero is one of those series that started off kind of good, but ended very dark in a way. But My Hero, very great series for the time. I've had a lot of enjoyment. I used to be obsessed with My Hero. I did. I very was. I used to watch all the movies. Like, I would drag my friends. They didn't know what was going on watching the movies. Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan just came around for me. And let me preface this when I say this. Let me put this down and get a sip of tea before I say this. I say this because Attack on Titan is amazing, great series. I do not like the delays of Attack on Titan. I don't like waiting this long for something. I get that they're trying to milk it and get something more out of Attack on Titan, but we gotta do better. But Attack on Titan from beginning to end, Chef's Kiss is a masterpiece. I can understand why in Japan it has such the love that it gets, because it's deserving. Attack on Titan, man, it's just a great story. Everything, little detail from start to finish is important, and it has so much. I've never watched an anime that without enjoyment, going back and having so much replay value. Attack on Titan has so much replay value because from the very first episode, from the very first minute, everything matters. And there's so small Easter eggs that's so well written. So I could give him that. Haiku, never watched much of Haiku, but I know it's very, very, very popular. I had a bad experience with Haiku. It wasn't really like a real bad experience. It's just I had a very bad headache, and then like my dad asked me to want something to eat, and I'm just like, I had like a really bad attitude. And I remember watching Haiku, and I just don't want to watch it no more. But like, no, Haiku seems really good. I might give it a chance again. So I'll probably check that out. The story follows Shoujo Hinata, a boy determined to become a great volleyball player despite being only 5'4" tall. He joins the high school team with the not bad. I'll check it out. So I actually really, really love Haiku. The premise of it, like what I just read, but I've never really stumbled and even looked into it. Blue Lock though, I love Blue Lock. Blue Lock is such a great series. If you like those type of like soccer or just sports and you want to try something different, Blue Lock doesn't have that actual like super sports feel to it. It has kind of like glimpses of Kakaguri and stuff like that. So I would definitely add factors of Kakaguri inside this, and with the animation and everything, they've got better in season 2 with the animation. There was a lot of bad CGI in the first. Not a lot of CGI, but the moments that it has CGI was Unleash is Yuri on Ice, and I only stumbled across it. I had never really even looked into it. But that's everything. Okay, wow. So that was a really good list. Let me know what y'all think about this list. I thought it was very enjoyable. It had a nice variety of stuff that you may not know, stuff that is very popularized. There's a couple series on here that I've stumbled across, like I said, that I saw that I'm extremely interested in now picking up because I didn't know that these series were that in depth and that amazing. Especially the one series about the friend being dead and checking it out. I have to check that out. It's very, very weird. Like, wow, that makes me a little eerie. So I'm excited to check that out and read this on the channel. So you should expect that in the near future. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like I said, more videos will be coming in the future of tapping and everything later on. I'm just letting my arm recover and heal. I don't want to injure myself again at all. But I want to continue to get you these videos out. So we're gonna do a lot more chill videos. Anything that doesn't involve too much movement and everything with my left arm. But thank you all for being so patient with me. I'm going to be a lot more consistent. I don't want to let y'all down, and I want to continue to build this and go down this path with y'all because I love and appreciate every single one of y'all, and I always want to let y'all know that nothing on this channel would ever be possible without you. In the future, we're supposed to have a manga collaboration video. Be sent a good chunk of manga from Manga Mart. Shout out to Kevin who's been helping me through that. And all the shoe sponsors and everything, like none of that will be possible for me to be able to have these things and bring it to the channel without any of y'all. So I want y'all to be proud of yourself and know that, man, Takame is thankful and blessed and so happy to see all y'all come across a video and just be thankful every day I wake up that y'all are amazing people. So I will see y'all in the next one. It's Manga Man, Takame. And I'm gonna try to bust out 2 more videos for y'all while I'm here waiting. So I'll see y'all very soon. Take care. Love all y'all, man. Bye.